I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
That's Booby.
And Vita and Chip and Culpy.
This goes out to the big homie Penta Penguin. How you doing, big homie?
This is his second month in a row.
This is Mercyful Fate. Thought we were supposed to do like a trilogy or an album review or something with Mercyful. There's something we were supposed to do with Mercyful Fate. You don't remember? I don't remember either.
You mean like an interview or like...
No, I don't think we had an interview.
People had asked us to do... Oh.
I don't think we had.
Are they all passed away? What's happening? Why are you laughing?
No. It's just there's so many interviews that we...
I know.
I got to do a lot of work tomorrow and figure out.
It's really difficult not being full-time and having so much...
It's really ridiculous. Like, you've got these interviews that could happen and
I know.
And you're not doing them.
I know.
Right? You're dumb.
So what... Remember there was somebody there was like a trilogy, it was like a mama-son trilogy. Was it Mercyful Fate?
Yeah, well, something is Abigail something. I forgot who it was. But anyway, it'll be good to listen to some metal because we just got out of Grunge Week. And the main stage show was the main stage show was Creed, so this is Creed.
I was like,
Queen.
Where was I?
Queen. So this is we're actually gonna do a metal song now. Yep. So that's good. If you want to see this one's life behind the scenes, it's My Story Life. Mm-hmm. If you want some timely, topical, political commentary, you can check me out at Middle America Vin and Sori. This, though, is Egypt Mercyful Fate. Let's do it.
Go. What?
It just seems to me that, like, so the Bartzabel song, Nergal invoked, I don't know, probably 9 to 11 other deities, and then this one he's got Anubis and Osiris, and this is probably taken from the Egyptian Book of the Dead.
Okay.
So it's just very interesting to me how metal, like, or even darker shades of metal, like, there's all these invocations about these other gods, just not the Christian God. It's like...
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of like a praise thing to Osiris and Anubis. And he's talking about being judged. You know, I put my soul in your hands. It's sort of very submissive thing to these gods.
Yeah.
But why why can't one of these... And I'm not talking about Christian metal bands. Like, if you had a regular metal band say that about God or Jesus, then automatically, immediately you say, oh, that's a Christian band. But nobody says, oh, a Mercyful Fate is an Egyptian, you know,
yeah, that's true. That's an interesting
band,
question.
or that, you know, that Behemoth is a, you know, Greek, or it's just weird.
Yeah.
Very interesting. But they did their homework. You know, you get the Egyptian Book of the Dead, and you've seen that jackal-headed god, right? He's like half man, half...
It was in the video.
Yeah. And then he goes down there, and I think he takes your heart out of your... I hadn't read it. I had a project in 4th grade I had to do. So this is where all my knowledge is coming from. He takes your heart out of your chest, and then he puts it on the scale, and he weighs it, and then you get to go to Aru or Atararu or someplace, the good place, if you're good. He said it somewhere in these lyrics.
Yeah, it did.
There you go. Will I pass on to Aru, or will I be condemned? Yeah.
Yep.
And then it was interesting. I was listening to this guy on Joe Rogan. He was talking about his DMT trip, and he ran into one of these guys.
Oh, really?
On his trip, and the guy basically said, "Look, you. I guess he wasn't. He was being mean to his wife. So it was." I'm pretty sure it was Anubis showed up to him, and then like this lady, this blue lady that shows up to everybody on ayahuasca, and she was like, you know, hey, we're gonna mess you up for that, and so ever since then he apparently he's been very nice to his lady after his DMT trip. But yeah, that was he ran into Anubis there. You know what's interesting? There's this video game. You know how I always talk about Street Fighter 2?
Yeah.
Well, there's these rash of video games that got created for Super Nintendo with this fighting game, and one of the characters was Anubis. It's like he's a god. He's like the god of the underworld or whatever.
One of the characters in the fighting game?
Yeah, one of the characters, and he was named Anubis and everything. Yeah.
What was his power?
I forgot. War Gods. I think the name of the thing was War Gods.
Oh my god.
But it was before War Gods, though. It must have been before. I don't know. It might have been War Gods. But anyway, it couldn't have been War Gods. It was for Super Nintendo. But anyway, but yeah, it was Anubis was one of these. It could have been, yeah, Midway Games '96. Who knows? But anyway, it's just a stupid idea. Like, this dude is coming from the underworld to get to enter this tournament, to go street fight a regular human being. Like, it doesn't make sense. Anyway, he's saying he's burning inside to know. I wonder if people, because we have discussions. The vast majority of our group are atheists, or that's what they claim.
Yeah.
But I wonder how many of them, like, because people will ask me sometimes, like, do you ever doubt Christianity or whatever? Do you ever doubt God or whatever? And I was, of course, everybody. And then I wonder if they ever sit and think to themselves, what if all this is right and I'm actually going to run into a God and he's actually going to judge me? I wonder if they ever think about that. I bet they do, but I don't think that you can say that publicly.
Yeah.
Like,
I would think so.
Yeah, like just like you can't. It's not popular to come out as a Christian and say I doubt this stuff or I doubt Jonah and the whale. I don't think it's very popular for atheists to come out and say, "Oh, I might get judged by God," or they'll say something like, "Well, if God did exist, then He could. I'm a better person than Him." I had this conversation with an atheist a couple days ago. But I just wonder, like, do they really sit and think about that stuff, and does it ever concern them? Answer honestly, atheists. This is This is a free. This is a what do they call? This is a safe space.
Yeah.
Atheists, tell the truth.
We're very curious.
I am actually curious. I wonder about that sometimes.
Sometimes though, when an answer's already figured out in my head, like it doesn't matter what people say, because if, let's say, 50 million of them wrote underneath that thing and said, no, I never think of that, I wouldn't believe it. Because that's how I am. I'm like, no, I don't.
I think it depends, because I know some of them very well. So
if Adam the honest atheist says it, then I might consider it.
Yeah, if Adam the honest atheist said, no, I never thought about that, then yeah.
I
would believe him.
That would depend on the debates that you had with or discussions that you've had with people, like. If somebody was more honest in those discussions, but sometimes all of a sudden people be saying some crazy shit because they don't want to be consistent.
You have Ben saying stupid.
If it's something like that, then
Ben
I'm like,
gets
I'm not
on
going
and
to believe
says the dumbness, but Adam is pretty honest and pretty straightforward. Zonia, I like Zonia to answer that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if Zonia's ever actually said if she was an atheist or not, or maybe she's agnostic. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But have you ever been interested in Egyptian religion? In the 4th grade,
Not really.
In the 4th grade, I went through, because you know how I go through these phases. Mm-hmm. I went through I went through a very short but very concentrated phase of being fascinated with Egyptian religion in Egyptology, because Moses was my favorite Bible person.
I see.
Because you follow Moses for a very long. There's more life biography stuff about Moses than there is about Jesus.
Yeah.
So I had a real, and I just couldn't believe that he didn't get into the promised land because he lost his temper on those people. I'm like, everybody would have lost it. It took Jesus to be the only one that'd be able to handle those people.
Never.
But I wouldn't have made it for 4 seconds in that world. It's good luck. But I became very. Then I thought to myself, I want to know what the religion was at the time that Moses was around with all these people and stuff. And so I became very, very interested in.
Really?
Oh yeah, and the Rosetta Stone and all that stuff. I was extremely interested. My mom almost bought me this big thingy. Oh yeah. Oh, because you know how I am with my phases. So that was the only thing I would talk about, sun up to sundown, was Egypt, because it was just real. And they had a very developed religion. It was extremely developed.
I mean, I'm not surprised.
And they had this thing. It wasn't like 10 Commandments, but it was like these negations, like I have not killed, I have not done this. I think I read it to you one time. I have not stolen from my neighbor. I have not been, needlessly angry. I have not been. And so it was a weird way of saying this is what you should do. So they published these negations, and it says, I haven't done this, I haven't done this, I haven't done this. And then you were supposed to read it and go, okay, this is how you should live. You should not do these things. So I was very, very fascinated by it because it was an ancient, and you could see where Moses was able to say, okay, that's good, because some of that stuff predated, Moses. And he'd say, "Yep, that's good," and that got carried over into Egypt. I mean, from Egypt to Canaan. But then there are other things that were kind of, where Moses obviously diverged from it and said, "No, that's not good. We're not doing that." So, I was just really, really fascinated with it. So,
yeah, I never really got fascinated with it. I always felt like it was a very dark religion, like
the Egypt stuff.
Yeah, it always seemed like this is weird, but we would watch the 10 Commandments movie a lot. We watched it a lot. And with Charlton Heston. Yeah. I almost feel like I know that story, that version, better than the Bible version because we watched it so much.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was dark inside, the inside of their temple area or their living quarters and stuff. It wasn't really bright or anything like that.
Yeah.
So physically dark. And then when they went into. He went to try to raise the child back to life by bringing it to that god that had its arms outstretched and stuff. It was never a religion that made me... Greek mythology, for me, that is, that and honestly, Satanism, I'm always what's going on over there? That's
Really?
Yeah. So when Christopher sent me that stuff today, I was super interested. As soon as I realized what the context of his message was, I really wanted to read that stuff. And then I was able to read the different things. And then we've got that thing we're going to watch tonight. So I'm really, really interested.
Right, and the guy gave us that thing for the Satanism thing.
God, Christopher.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, but no, I never really.
So this is interesting if you want to look at like biblical / Egyptian carryover. So Aru, the fields of Aru are the fields of reeds, known also as whatever that Egyptian word is, the fields of reeds, or the heavenly paradise where Osiris rules once he has displaced Anubis and the Ogadogar. But it has been described as the Ka, or part of the soul of the Nile Delta. Okay, so you got this.
Do you think that's... Remember when she went out and got Moses from floating in there? He was in the reeds and sent the kid to go get it?
Yes.
Do you think that she thought that God sent it to her?
Well, that's where I was going, because another name for the Red Sea, you know, when you were crossing the Red Sea, was Yam Suf. And Yam Suf means the Sea of Reeds.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, it's very, very, very interesting. You know, the Exodus Sea crossing is, the Red Sea.
Yeah.
It was the Yam Suf, which is the Sea of Reeds. And then in Egyptian theology or mythology, the fields of Aru, which would be the field of reeds, are where Osiris rules. And so that's a very interesting kind of linguistic kind of eye jammy to Osiris, right? Because it's like Yahweh rules the Sea of Reeds, not Osiris, basically. And there's kind of like a back and forth.
Wait,
very interesting.
How are you getting that? Where did Yahweh come from?
Because I'm going back and forth between Egyptology and old Canaanite Mosaic religion. So Osiris rules the field of reeds.
Yep.
And the Red Sea
that's
crossing.
Why the Red Sea.
Right,
that's why you're bringing the Red Sea
the
into
Red
it.
Sea is called Yam Suf, which means the Sea of Reeds.
Yeah, and you're saying, but Yahweh parted the sea, told it what to do.
It's kind of like the last kind of eye jammy to all the Egyptian gods. But the point is like, Moses was entrenched in Egyptian, and these people were, whatever you want to call it, whether you have a naturalistic explanation or a supernaturalistic explanation, these people, this document, the Old Testament, was very, very familiar with the traditions and customs and religions and there's a lot of like subliminal dog whistling in the first opening passages of Exodus. It's very, very interesting. And so I knew a lot more of it when I was a kid, but there was a lot of stuff I'm like, oh my god. Of course, nobody at the time was saying, well, yeah, Moses drew from a lot of that stuff. Right. Because, their understanding of inspiration was different, where none of that would be relevant, because they didn't have a very developed understanding of inspiration. Yeah. Like what we do now. But yeah, it was very, very interesting. What'd you give the song?
I didn't like it really that much. It was like a 6 or 7 for me.
Is it because is it because it's metal and you like grunge now? Have you become a grunge fanboy or what?
I think that might be part of it, honestly.
You want more grunge?
I think so. Well, we went from grunge and then we heard that other song, the Queen song.
The Queen song, yeah.
So, and that's rock and roll?
Yeah, it's more rock and roll than like grunge.
So, yeah. I mean, that might be part of it. And then, I didn't like his vocals.
I didn't really see anything really special with this song per se.
Yeah.
I like I haven't heard anything about Egypt. Nile did a song, but it wasn't about Egypt. It was about Mesopotamia.
I thought we did one about Egypt before.
Yeah, the most recent Nile song we did was about Mesopotamia. It wasn't about Egypt. Okay. This song was specifically about Egypt and the Book of the Dead and all that stuff. I didn't really. The riff was. Yeah, I wasn't very impressed. But 7.5 for me.
You still? That's decent.
7.5 for me.
I'm gonna go with a 6.7.
Okay. He'll probably send me on another mini Egypt thingamajig though, because now I'm gonna Google Aru versus Yam Suf and see if there's anybody else sees a connection or if I'm just crazy. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.